All right, word on the street, Sean, that Airbnbs in Joshua Tree is starting to fall apart, and what are your thoughts on it?
Yes, for sure. So Airbnbs are definitely down on overall revenue for sure in Joshua Tree and the surrounding areas, and we have a lot of people selling their properties too. Going into the reason why it got so crazy is, first of all, was that prices were incredibly low compared to what they are now. Pre-COVID prices are completely different than what they are currently. The geographic location, Joshua Tree to LA, is only 2.5 hours. So people were, during COVID especially, were flooding out here because this was the only place that was open, and they fell in love with this beautiful desert. And so they saw how much they're paying for Airbnbs and they're like, hey, I could do this. The houses are super cheap. Well, let's go into why it's starting to fail. I think it's starting to fail because the people who bought recently, it was an all-out feeding frenzy, and people were paying, 50, 100 grand over asking. And, the houses weren't appraising for that amount, so they're putting the cash to cover the difference. They're putting, 100 grand into these properties and fixing them all up and making them super beautiful. And then now the overall amount of Airbnbs is extremely saturated. So they're not making near what they originally thought they were going to be making. And then also another thing too that people forget about is it's a business, right? You have to run it like a business. You can't just throw it on Airbnb and then forget about it. It is legitimate. You have to have cleaners in place. You have to have systems in place. You have to be able to manage everything from afar, which is difficult sometimes. I think people didn't realize just how involved you have to be to own a short-term rental. Another reason why I think Airbnb is really slowing down is because people are now they have to go back to the office, right? So that was another contributing factor. You had people coming over here and, working from home, and now that's no longer possible. They're moving back to the cities, LA, San Diego, San Francisco. This house no longer serves a purpose for them, and on Airbnb, it's not doing as good as they originally hoped. So now they're selling. So I feel like if you could just make enough money where all the bills are paid and it's not really costing you any money to have this vacation home in Joshua Tree, I think that's the play right now while the market does what it does. And once it stabilizes, that saturation goes down because people are selling, and we're in the summer right now, we're going into the good season. I feel like if you can just break even at this moment, you should be fine, hold on to it. If it's costing you a lot of money every single month, you might want to think about selling it. All right, guys, that's me and Marvin's take on the Airbnb market. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have an amazing day. Talk to you soon.